Welcome into the Mavs Pulse Podcast, and this is a very, very, very special edition of it. You guys have been waiting, and me and Grant have been festering at the mouth to talk to you guys. Nico Harrison is gone. Finito. He is out as general manager of your Dallas Mavericks, and a new era will begin. And who better to join it with than the Mavs Pulse Podcast? I'm Blake Elliott, joined by my fantastic co-host Grant Afseth, who is traveling with the team, making sure he's up to date on all the laundry list of injuries. And who better to get your updates on Twitter for than by Grant? Grant, how are you doing on this fantastic Thursday?
I'm doing well. I'm glad we don't have to add another thumbnail 5 episodes in a row with the GM, so that's cool. At least we can move forward. Also, not having to talk about free throw chance as well in clutch time long term. That's cool as well. So. Yeah, at least we can focus a lot more on actual basketball going forward.
It feels weird because, like, you're completely right. We couldn't move on and talk about anything like realistic basketball. How many times did we have a pre-show meeting and I said we're gonna break down the basketball of it, but I'm like, I don't even know if people really care because Nico was the GM. They're like, that's cool and all. They lost. They're not playing well, but Nico's a GM and Luka's doing this. Like,
yeah, and a good amount of people wanted them to keep losing too, so it's even worse.
We were at that point where there was no good you could do unless you were just like 13-0 and the best team in basketball and Luka was hurt. It's like the only way that people be like, okay, I get it. Luka's balling. The Lakers are balling. You're injured and terrible. The Mavs are 3-9. They lost to the Suns. We'll discuss that game towards the back half of the pod. So if you've already heard enough Nico talk, you're more than welcome to skip to that part in the video where we're talking about the Suns game. But we haven't had a chance to get in front of the mic with you guys and share our Nico opinions. If you listen to me on the fan, you've heard mine, but I've got some different thoughts, reiterate some things. So let's get it started. Let's talk about Nico Harrison no longer being the GM of your Dallas Mavericks, what that means, how it all came about, and how everything happened in the last week. You want to sponsor? This is where we would talk about you. I mean, what a better episode to be on. We're talking about Nico getting fired, and we're talking about your great product. Okay, cool. Nico Harrison out as GM. Grant, initial reaction. When did you hear about it? When did you get wind of it? And kind of what went through your head?
Yeah, I think since really like the weekend, it kind of felt like it was a day-to-day, like it could happen any moment with how bad the season was going. And then there was like some rumblings of interjection from like the governor, Patrick Dumont, with like kind of the day-to-day situation. And when that happens, for lack of a better term, you're kind of cooked at that point. Yeah. With how
you're
things,
on thin ice.
Yeah, very thin ice. And then they kept losing. That did not help at all. And then, of course, with Patrick Dumont in town, the home environment was just like untenable long term. Like it's just a constant distraction. The results aren't there. You have to be performing at an extremely high level for that type of environment to be worth dealing with. And that just was obviously not happening now at 3-9 ultimately. So this has not worked well at all. It's been a constant, rash of injuries to key players ever since February, and it was wearing on the players to be getting chance during their clutch time free throws and things of that nature. So it's just all around ideal to just kind of wipe the slate clean and move forward.
And there has been a bunch of reports that's come out about Nico Harrison and kind of the fallout and what was happening behind the scenes. And we're going to discuss all those reports throughout this video and in future videos. So don't you guys worry. There is a bunch to unpack with this Nico stuff. An interesting development because we had, like you said, over the past weekend, the seat was getting hot. We were talking about it on the pod. Some of it was kind of scuttlebutt rumor. Some of it was putting facts to paper and some sources inside the team saying things and whatnot. But even still, we were coming on the pod and I said, I don't know if he's going to get fired like tomorrow. Like, come on, let's be realistic, guys. Like the season has started. Maybe he gets fired around like the midway season if they're not looking good and Kyrie gets pushed back. But I can tell you, I didn't think he was going to get fired in November. I didn't see that coming. And they had the bad game, or they lose against the Bucks. I want to say they actually played a pretty good game. But lose against the Bucks. Patrick Dumont's in the arena. He's sitting courtside. He's hearing the fans. We also had the I think PR stunt. The young gentleman from SMU that has the Lakers jersey on that walks up and I couldn't come to a game until I apologized to you directly. Let him in. Let him in. Come let him talk to me. And he was sitting there courtside. Hopefully he got some Instagram pictures. Hopefully his friends took pictures because that's a pretty cool photo to have. I mean, shout out to the kid.
Well, he showed up the next game in a Cooper Flagg jersey.
Said all is well. Bump Nico. So I think it was a PR stunt. But at this point, who cares? I mean, Patrick Dumont needs all the good PR. Even if we realize it's a PR stunt, I'm actually not going to hate that much. He needed some good PR. Maybe they just needed a reason behind it. It wasn't just all of a sudden. And part of that is apparently the kid said that, was mad he traded Luka, and Dumont, allegedly, according to all the reports coming out, agreed with the kid and said he made a mistake, but mine was on a grand stage. So I guess that's his way of saying the trade wasn't good. And you saw in Dumont's letter when he let Nico go, he says all the stuff about we're committed to excellence and winning and jibber jabber, chat GPT. One thing he does not mention is the Luka trade. And I saw some people being mad about that. Like, why didn't you mention the whole reason we're mad at y'all or mad at Nico? But to Dumont's credit and to his defense, he can't really be like, the trade was a failure as he's got AD and Max Christie currently on his team, like suiting up. I mean, obviously AD's on the sideline, but on his team, that's pretty bad ownership. You're like, that trade really did suck, didn't it? I mean, the guys on our team are hot garbage. Like, we can say that, but I don't need the governor or owner saying that. So I understood why he didn't say that in the moment. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to everything you said, I think it would get a little awkward very fast if you start saying you're a player that was arrived in a trade and your presence here is a mistake. So that, yeah, especially when you have to continue to operate and figure out your next steps for sure. So you got to keep it pretty basic because honestly, I know a lot of people are upset with the letter, but I don't know if there's. I mean, you, at the end of the day, you could have the best worded letter. You still traded Luka Doncic. I don't think the letter, honestly, it's like a who cares situation about the letter.
I'm a little surprised. Maybe you have some insight on this on why he's not going to do a press conference. No, that was it. That was his word to the media and the fans, was just that letter.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I don't think he's done I'm trying to remember since the sale of the team. I don't think he's really done a formal press conference before. So normally stories even when the trade happened, a lot of the information is on Dallas Morning News. I think he's only really supplied stuff to them for his messaging, and then kind of goes about his business, if you will. So I didn't expect anything like that. I think a lot of people would like that. But yeah, I didn't expect it for those reasons based off the track record of kind of the precedent of how they've kind of operated.
100%. That Tuesday, Veterans Day, was crazy for me because I was filling in for our morning show at the Fan, Sean and RJ, which I'm sure plenty of you guys listening.
Perfect morning.
I had 2 hours of sleep. I just worked my regular Fan After Dark shift, so I got off at 11 p.m., had to wake up. I had 4 hours of sleep, went home, changed, got some food, went back to the studio stuff, whatever. Did the show, and I have Jerry Jones on at 8:30, and then I look down at my phone, and I'm getting a text from Brian Broaddus saying, Nico's about to get fired. Mind you, just got done with the first time talking to Jerry on the phone, so I'm already kind of hyped, trying to figure things out. It was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I don't feel like explaining on here. But either way, just got done with Jerry.
Too bad he couldn't sync it up and ask Jerry about Nico getting fired.
That would have been phenomenal. But he was right before, and then I'm getting blown up in a group chat with Brian and some of our other 105 The Fan coworkers. Nico's about to get fired. My sources are telling me this, and this was at 8:20, 8:30, obviously before the news even broke. And I wasn't even on my phone enough because Brian was like, Blake, you can break the news, do your thing. I wasn't looking at my phone enough because, like I said, I was doing a different show, a very popular show. I was running the one. I had to make sure things were flowing quickly. New studio, new producer, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I wasn't really looking at my phone, but just a crazy day. Get to break the Nico news. I was surprised. I was genuinely shocked when I saw it. My mouth open. I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Dumont goes to that first game, hadn't been to one since the season opener, and said, I've seen enough. And then we get the reports that Nico was trying to play AD through the injury, through the calf strain, and the medical team was like, nah. Now Dumont stepped in and was like, I'm not going to, until I know he is good, I'm not playing him. aka trade asset. We'll get to that in a later video. But what if you tuck away from Dumont's control or lack their control of kind of the Nico Harrison situation?
Yeah, I think honestly, like taking it back to February, I think that's been necessary from the start because, like, obviously, unfortunate things have to happen for there to be a problem that you need to solve. But like Anthony Davis before his debut, he didn't have the proper equipment for his rehab that he had with the Lakers and when he joined the team on the road. And then they came back and he made his debut, got hurt, and then missed a lot of time. Like, I think it's overdue for better oversight to be involved in like day-to-day like operations decisions, because that was like a legitimate, a disaster that tanked their whole season, because Kyrie Irving then gets an ACL tear, and then they're a team that was they legitimately internally inside that building, they thought they could win the championship last year. Like, they thought, like, get rid of the guy who, like, this is not my opinion, this is the opinion of some in there, that like may not be the same after this injury, doesn't really play much defense. If we can use that trade asset and get an all NBA first team guy who plays both ends, we could go for it and win it right now, because we have dominant defense with our shot blocking bigs on the floor at all times, and Kyrie, we have enough pieces around him offensively where we can just go and get it, and that's been a colossal failure.
Colossal. I mean, Grant, I wish we could go back in time and just put Luka right back in our hands, because I mean he literally is effortlessly putting up 40-point triple doubles every night. And I know they're not winning every single game, but they're still at top 4.
Well, they're doing the ultimate thing of what you never want to do, which is getting caught selling low and buying high constantly now, where everyone was low, like not everyone, of course, like not myself and you, but a lot of people react to the current present day status of something and get kind of overblown about or get too invested in what's going on now. Like, oh, Luka's been out for X amount of time. Then you start reading into why injuries happen, and you get down on players versus a year prior. Everyone was talking about how amazing his game winner against Gobert was to clinch a finals appearance. Mm-hmm. So they sold the guy when people were low on him in the court of public opinion, if you will. And then now the assets that they got, or the return that they got, now people are low on Anthony Davis. They're as low as they've been in a long time. So now you're like diminishing. You're playing the pen game where you sell the pen, or you trade the pen for something better, and then you work your way up to like a car or something. They're doing the opposite of that, is essentially what this feels like.
Alrighty, let's talk about how Nico Harrison lost the faith of the fans and kind of how he did that, how the timeline tracked that. If you guys maybe haven't been watching the team for the last couple of months, year or so since Lucas got traded, and you've been out of the loop, and this is your first podcast back now that Nico is back, we're going to try to catch you guys up to date on how Nico lost the faith of the fans and what went all into that. Boom, sponsor. This is where we talk about your product. It's so great, right in the middle of the video. Shabing. All right, I'm going to pass the baton off to Grant, because nobody covers the team better than him. He's got the timeline stuck in his head. He can't lose it even if he tried. So you trade Luka in February, disaster trade. Everyone knows about that. What were the steps after that, mainly off the court, mainly just media, that led to fans chanting "Fire Nico," aside from just trading Luka?
Yeah, I think a big problem has been just his messaging, of course. Like, anytime the guy touched a microphone, it was pretty much a disaster. And if you can't address your decisions and explain them, like with actual articulate explanations that are coherent, that's a real problem. Like, he made a lot of mistakes, but you have to own them. And there wasn't even enough time for some of these moves to be mistakes, like, that have played out, and he still didn't even address them or defend them. Like the Quentin Grimes, Caleb Martin trade, I ripped that apart. Like, I remember I was really quiet after Luka got traded, because I wanted to see the whole trade deadline. I thought that trade was a disaster in the making, of course. But like, who knows? Like maybe they try to make some win now desperate trade for a superstar like Kevin Durant or something. Because I knew he was on the market. I actually was told by people it's really heating up that he's gonna go to Golden State, and then he caught wind of that and killed that trade. So like I was wanting to keep an open mind of like what else could potentially transpire. I'll give him the whole deadline and then I'll react. And I remember sitting in TD Garden, the deadline passes. And I'm like, this is a disaster because the Luka trade to me was bad, but the Quentin Grimes trade was also really bad. And he never addressed it until the exit interviews. And it was like not even a topic of a conversation really, because of just how bad the season went. And it's just like, if you can't defend those moves or even explain, I'm not saying defend, because like obviously a lot of people in Dallas didn't think that was a bad trade, like because they think of Caleb Martin as like the Miami Heat Caleb Martin, who had some big playoff performances. And my personal opinion of it was I understood that his physical was flawed, and so you had a chance to rescind the trade and didn't. And this is why it's frustrating sometimes when you cover a team and then they make moves that are kind of incompetent, because for 2 whole months, I'm showing up to pre-game interviews and the coach is talking about how they're dealing with so many injuries. So I'm like, you hard capped yourself trading a healthy, talented young player that you have team control over as a restricted free agent for a guy with a flawed physical who's not played since January and didn't play for weeks after the trade. And we're not even getting your explanation. And to make it worse, they hard capped themselves with 14 players on the roster, and that's why they couldn't bring in a center when all of their centers were injured. They already had Derek Lively injured, and they misdiagnosed him, which was a complete disaster with his foot injury. Like for that situation, he traveled with the team to Charlotte. He was like questionable, if I remember correctly, to play, went through a pregame workout, and then we never saw him again for like months. And It was just a complete disaster. So like you already knew you had problems with health on your roster, and you made yourself an unhealthier roster, had an out to do it. And we couldn't even ask like, hey, like, what is your confidence level? Like there was a report out, and, you know, to our understanding, you had a chance to rescind this trade. What about like obviously not getting into super medical specifics, but like, what's your confidence level in this? What was your rationale for pushing the trade through? Like there's no address of the transaction or anything of that nature. And so it's just when you can't like talk coherently about your transactions, that's a really massive red flag. And if you made such a bad like underlying transaction like the Luka trade where you just can't talk at all in front of a camera, then maybe you shouldn't make that transaction.
I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. And if you just enjoyed Grant unloading the clip, put a like, send a comment of your favorite part right there. I think where he lost the fans, obviously with the Nico trade, or with the Luka trade, with the Luka trade is after it was done, like you said, instead of him saying, we wanted this type of player because this is the type of brand of basketball we want to play, and the fans we think that this can be a championship winning team, yada yada. He like you said, it was very insulting. Defense wins championships. Me and Jason Kidd know the type of archetype of player that we want. And he pretty much was calling the fans dumb, like that they don't know basketball and that you'll win the fans back if you start winning. It's not like the Mavs were legitimately in the finals every year Luka touched the court. Now, did they get to the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals, and that was the most recent? Yes. But Mavs fans were still there the year right prior when they missed the entire playoffs with Luka and Kyrie. Missed the playoffs. We're not in it. We're in the lottery. Got Derek Lively. Like, Mavs fans are I don't want to say the only, but one of the most loyal fan bases that I've come to know. Had Dirk. Terrible the last year of Dirk with Luka. Missed the playoffs, Western Conference Finals, missed the playoffs, NBA Finals. And to like insult the fans that we're just going to trade your superstar in the middle of the night and you should just get over it. This type of player is better, and that guy's fat and is out of shape when you just traded for another fat, out of shape player in Anthony Davis. That they don't know basketball, and that if we start winning, you guys will realize that I'm the smartest guy in the room. And it fooled some people. Some people were on it, and then you get the number 1 overall pick, and that even quells it. I think me and you would both agree. You get the number 1 pick, we're like, okay, we'll see. I'm not saying that you should have traded Luka, but I see you on the other side of what you're
it definitely bought him time for sure.
Yeah, everyone was like, okay, let's see what this is about. Cooper, as amazing as he's been playing the last week, is not enough to carry the team to the NBA Finals. Anthony Davis has been hurt. Kyrie Irving has been hurt. So your vision of those three and Derek Lively and Gafford, who have also been hurt, PJ Washington got hurt tonight. Like, you have an injury-prone team, so getting another injury-prone guy that even when he's in the lineup, I think people need to realize this. Anthony Davis, nothing personal. I don't really know the guy that well. I'm just going about what's on the court. Anthony Davis is not, right now in his career, some guy you can just drop on top on the court and you're just a championship NBA Finals contender. There's not a bunch of those guys running around anyways. To me, Anthony Davis is a top 15, 20-ish player, but right now, in the last season or two, he has not shown me, if you have AD, you got a chance to win any game and you got a chance to be in the NBA Finals. I don't care if the Bucks are the 7 seed, they still have a chance to win the NBA Finals and go because you have Giannis on your team. Same with the Nuggets. Same with the Lakers right now. Like, there's a couple players in the NBA where it doesn't matter what seed they are. We all believe in them that they can get it done when it matters most. Anthony Davis is not one of those guys, and to look fans in the eyes and pretty much tell them that they don't know basketball and you're so much smarter because you brought in Anthony Davis, it was just a slap in the face. And then, like you said, it was a PR disaster class. Every chance you had a chance to make it right or whatever, you're having closed-door meetings with media. You're misquoting people. You're only doing interviews here and there. Like, you're getting rolling stairs so you don't have to interact with the crowd. There was nothing that was done correct PR wise, off the court, media wise with Nico Harrison after the Luka trade. The Luka trade is horrible, and maybe if you got a better return and handled the PR better, you might see a different tenure. People would still be mad that Luka's gone, but it wouldn't be as big of a number. You wouldn't hear fire Nico 24/7 anywhere you go in the state of Texas. Because if you handled it better, understood what kind of guy he was, respected him, got a good trade value, said you understand what this means, but we're going to try to move a different direction. Me and you, media members, we might disagree which team is better, but you made it where it was very easy to not like Nico Harrison, and I'm glad he's gone and we can move together in this
well, I think the biggest part about all of it that we didn't touch on, there's a huge part of it that we can't sail over, is the fact that he was leaking tons of negative things on the way out. We didn't hear anything negative about Anthony Davis on the other side.
And there's plenty to go for. And there's a lot to go for.
Yeah, there's a lot of any star there's all kinds of unspoken things about any star. Like, you could kick people while they're down at any time. Doesn't even matter if it's a role player. Everyone has pros and cons, great habits, bad habits. There's all kinds of things you could do. And there are so many. I could make a whole episode about that stuff. But the amount,
but we don't.
Exactly. Like, the amount of things from that time period where you're leaking about Luka, like insinuations of on ESPN that he basically faked a wrist injury to buy him time to get his conditioning right, just because they left a monitor on at the training facility and you saw him make a pass, is absurd, because the guy literally had his wrist taped all the way through his last game. And he honestly arguably came back a little too soon. He went on a road back-to-back to play and played in Portland after working out in Utah. Like, the guys that's insulting to say that basically this guy would theatrically get his wrist taped, who constantly plays through all these injuries and just did to get you to the finals. Like, that's really low and condescending. And then all these leaks throughout about habits. And then, we can insinuate a lot of origins for some information as well that has been very negative. And, the problem is, when you live and die by the media, when you have people that play the winner, it gets flipped on you very fast. Once you're a failure, they'll pile on you very quickly. And that's what happened with that closed door meeting. It was already pretty easy to pile on Nico Harrison with how the season went and how Kyrie was out with the ACL tear. So you can assume that season was cooked. And then potentially this upcoming season would be very, very difficult to manage. And so now it's like a lot of people that were defending and being, pro Nico Harrison with the media coverage, probably getting leaks directly from him, then flip and are piling on him. And it's like, you can't live and die by the media, because when you get into that leaking mode, there's retaliations that are naturally going to happen as well, where people are going to not take kindly to those leaks. So that's the fans first and foremost. The fans did absolutely every day they were reminded almost of how like can this guy just stop planting stories? Like it was like not only in our own backyard was this happening, there was all kinds of just random national things that were just popping up. Like, oh, here's another story about how Luka's fat and sucks. Like all kinds of stuff like that, where it was like, can you just stop leaking these things? Like just believe in your trade, move forward, and deal with that. Like that's really where it was a huge problem, because it was constant reminders and all this weird stuff too. Like now fans get a beat writer tweet about how they removed memorabilia from Luka in the case, or they didn't put him they blocked him out of a video or something. Like it was almost like
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was like a guy that they celebrated. It was like the Twilight Zone. Like they were celebrating and so excited for him to come back, and he was like the guy. And then within the same week, I'm in Detroit pregame hearing about postgame. Jaden Hardy's a topic about like Jason Kidd said, I don't think we're going to need much scoring and playmaking from Jaden Hardy going forward because we're going to get 77 back. And then he gets traded. And then it was like the whole time was, when we get whole, we're going to be really excited. I have interviews like looking at the anniversary that I never used from Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington that I was going to drop until that trade happened, and everything just, I didn't have time to use it. It just became a disaster. The whole narrative was how excited they are to get Luka back and how this team has great potential to kind of pick up where they left off in the finals run when they're whole again. And so that was the whole mentality, in the arena, everyone's like wearing Luka jerseys. And then in that same week, it's like, he who shall not be named. It's like he killed somebody or something crazy. Yeah. It was like, oh, he just all he did was play basketball and got traded. And then it's like, don't talk about that guy ever again. It was just like super weird.
The reference you used, do you know what movie that's from? He who shall not be named?
No.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
It's talking about Voldemort. I know because I just rewatched it like the other day. It's a great. Sometimes us as media members, we need an unplug. Like I can't even watch sports and it not be my job. It doesn't matter what sport it is. So I'm like, okay, that's noteworthy. That happens. So if I want to unplug, I'm watching like a YouTube video that has nothing to do about sports.
Absolutely unrelated.
Absolutely unrelated, where I can legitimately kick back, because a lot of people's escape is sports. That's not an escape for us. That's work.
No.
Oh my gosh. When they were blacking out the videos, that was a crazy time, Grant. I remember that. Like this, I mean, I was very in tune with the social media posts since Lucas got traded, just reading the comments, reading the tenor of the fans. What do people think? You can go on any post. Mavs could be on a 15-game winning streak. And they never did. I'm just making this up. Every comment is still miss Luka, fire Nico. And like, you just had to get rid of that cancer cell. Like, it was just the aura around the team. I mean, we've heard the reports this week that players did not want to play back home. Like, it did not feel like they were in a home arena when they were playing there.
No, you can still see the frustration. Like, even now, like Brandon Williams at the practice today was asked, like basically, like, was it nice to have defense chance for your team in the fourth quarter? He just said yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Period. like it was like, I'm so glad this is over with. You
know what? That tells me maybe they got a little bit of PR training. Shout out to our girl Gina Miller from FC Dallas, who came in the day before Nico got fired. That should have been our tell. Like, I think me and you texted about it. Like, we kind of knew Gina Miller got hired, and she's like very well represented. Everyone loves her in the DFW, FC Dallas for the last like 15 years.
Well, they were in the like, I kind of knew they were bringing her on for many weeks. I think it was like almost like picture perfect timing, to be honest. Like,
she comes on the day before they let him go, and it's like, I think we can put two and two together. Patrick Dumont did not get a quill and some ink and write that letter himself, which is fine. I don't need him to. But hopefully the PR moving forward is positive. Can I give you this? We're in the next episode, we're going to be doing like how to rebuild the Mavs, who we think should be the GM, what we think of Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi taking over as assistant GMs, who we would trade, who we wouldn't trade, who we'd build around. So we're going to do a whole video on that. That'll be the next video. But I will give a little bit of a tease. I think the Mavericks and Dumont need to do some kind of gesture towards the fans, like half off jerseys, half off tickets. Maybe this game, I don't know, all the third levels free for one random game against the Pistons. Like, I think you need to do something of like, and eat the money, Dumont, you'll be fine. We care about the fans. Like, this is for you. Here's a straight up gesture. Get a bunch of people who have been, I promise you, Grant, and everyone listening, there is people that have been skipping games that were once season ticket holders that have not gone to either a lot of games or 0 games since Luka's gotten traded. You need to do something. You're not going to get Luka back, but you need to do something that says, we want the fans back. We want your trust back. Not just it's strictly basketball.
Oh yeah, because a lot of that stuff, like to build on what you just said, in the playing game in Memphis, I actually had like 5 fans that like went to Memphis, sat really close, first row, right behind me. Like in Memphis, like for background, they put you by the scores table, so you're really close to the court. So these are people that pay a lot of money for those seats, and they were talking to me like because they recognized, me from doing content, and they were like, Grant, I used to sat by Mark Cuban with season tickets. I canceled them. I had them for many years. Like, I can't support this team anymore.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people felt like that.
And what was crazy is in that setting as well, Nico was along the sideline closest to us, and one of those guys was just like, fire Nico. Like, he wasn't like really belligerent. Like, he just was kind of like, I don't know if the heart was fully in it. He was still doing it, but I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't, he was like crazy. Like there's some people that were like really, really, really aggressive about it. Like, it was just like, it was like a very respectful, if that makes sense, fire Nico. And then he gestured to get him thrown out. Like, the arena security went and talked to him and said basically like, yo, like, you got complaints, like, you got to chill. Like, if you do this again, you like, I'm just saying, if you want to watch this game, you got to chill. Like, basically, like, it was before the game, like when they first were letting fans in, like, that's where we were in the playing game, where they had a chance to be the team that got completely pounded by Oklahoma City in the first round. That was the grand prize.
Soft.
Yeah, like that's where it was many months after the trade.
Well, that was us recapping the Nico experience. We will continue going through the fallout of Nico, some of the stories that have come out, what the team should do. But here's where the next sponsor goes. We're going to talk about how great you are right here, Jabing. All right, let's wrap up this episode with a little bit of Suns talk. I'm going to hand out the baton to you because I was able to watch some of the game. I saw the first and the fourth quarter. So I'm watching, and the Mavs are cooking. Like, in that first quarter, like, they, especially before like the last 2-3 minutes, they're cooking. I'm like, okay, PJ Washington's getting money. Cooper Flagg looks comfortable. Brandon Williams was dishing out assists. And then the last, I want to say 2-3 minutes, they go on like a 21-4 run, completely lose the lead. They lose in the first quarter, get outscored by 10 in the second, and then they start bringing it back in the second half and get it all the way down to 4 points. Have a couple chances at 3 balls. Klay Thompson and Cooper Flagg, they miss them late. PJ ends up getting hurt in this game, doesn't return in the second half. Cooper Flagg hurts his shoulder, and there's a funny moment, pretty ironic, of the Mavericks, where Cooper Flagg is returning from the locker room in the first quarter. PJ Washington's going in the locker room. They're right next to each other in the tunnel. It literally feels like this is the Dallas Mavericks. Quick shout-outs to Brandon Williams, who has been far and away the best guard on the team, like point guard. And then Moussa Cissé. I mean, talk about an energy guy. Talk about a guy rim running. He ends up getting 6 fouls, but I loved everything that he gave you. He's just such a fun guy to watch. What this Mavs team needs right now. Other than the stuff I said, what happened in that run for the Mavs to go down? Who were some guys that came up short, and then who some guys that stood out in your eyes?
Yeah, I think for the most part, Phoenix, they got hot in that second half. Like, Grayson Allen started scoring. Dylan Brooks he had a really strong run coming out of halftime as well. It like really created some separation. And the Mavs turned the ball over a lot. I think that was really a big problem for them. They had some games recently where they did a good job of taking care of the basketball, but that was definitely one of the games where that was not the case. And that's definitely a focal point going into Friday's game against the Clippers to really clean that up. But, it was an efficient night inside the 3-point line, like for the Mavs. Like, they were able to shoot 50% overall from the floor. I think free throw shooting ended up being a little bit of an issue as well. They shot like 65%, but it wasn't one of those games where it was like, if you say they shoot 100%, they would still win. They only missed 6. So it wasn't like a huge issue for them. But, everything that you said about Moussa Cissé and Brandon Williams, they've been standouts, in recent games. They've been really impressive. B. Will, 17 points, 9 assists. He's been getting a lot of steals as well lately. Moussa Cissé brings a lot of energy. Doesn't have like the biggest stats all the time because he's a play finishing big, but 9 boards, 4 blocks, 4 offensive rebounds. Yeah, he's been cleaning up. He plays really, really hard. And I think that's been a really, like just looking at it, 15 minutes of play, that's really good, like hustle stats, if you will, for 15 minutes, like 4 blocks. That's impressive stuff. So I thought, as well, like we're getting a little bit more of the same from D'Angelo Russell lately. Like he's been struggling to really provide efficient offense.
He gets thrown in the starting lineup and forgot how to play basketball. And I know a lot of Lakers fans are probably like, this is a D'Angelo Russell experience. But, like, legitimately, he was off the bench and everyone was, like, clamoring for him to start, us included. He starts, and then he just, like, forgot how to play. He finally hits a 3. I think he was, like, 0-4, hits a crazy 3, and then the next play, he, like, just shoots with, like, 5 seconds in the shot clock, just shoots with a hand in his face from, like, 33 feet. I'm like, okay, D-Lo. Like, I don't. And then shout out to our boy Clay. He
shot the ball really solid. Yeah.
He said, Clay said, I got DMP. I'm out sick. Y'all making fun of my girl. I'm shooting 16 threes tonight.
16 of 17 shot attempts from 3.
He was letting it fly. And we're going to get into Clay. He's been a trade target. He's been bandied about a bunch on the program, but I do want a second to talk about this guy. The Mavs lost. They don't have a Devin Booker. I don't think there's too much to read into this one, to be honest. I think the Mavs, they had their second best offensive game, offensive rating wise. When I was watching the game, like other than those runs that they were going on, I thought the Mavs played inspiring basketball. They're scrapping. They got back into the game. The Suns have a guy that you have to double every play, and Devin Booker. Like the Mavs just don't have that all-star guy right now.
Yeah, they don't have a closer right now.
They don't have a closer. Devin Booker's a very good basketball player. He's going to get doubled. He made some big-time shots. They gave themselves a good lead where they were able to, mess around a little bit at the end. But shout out to the Suns. I'm not like that worried about like, man, the Mavericks lost this game. This means the season's over. I already thought the season wasn't great. But one guy that has made the future of the Mavs look good is Cooper Flagg. I think he had his one of his best games once again. He had 16 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. He had a really good 24 against the Bucks the night before. Cooper Flagg in this last week seems like he is coming into himself. And we're seeing the consistency first quarter to fourth quarter. Also, you got a point guard out there with him now. Whether it's D'Lo or Brandon Williams, there's always a point guard out there. We're seeing a comfortable Cooper Flagg. He knocked down 3 threes last night. He's finding mismatches. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Cooper. And he's one of the best defenders on the team at 18 years old. Defense, offense, 3-level scoring, attacking the rim, fast break. He even guarded Devin Booker one-on-one a couple times. Get some steals in the passing lanes. Like I think there's a lot to be happy about with Cooper Flagg right now.
Yeah, he had a really incredible like block on the open floor. I think a big thing for him as well, the 3-point shooting, it wasn't just like kind of spot up standing around. Like he was reading, like I asked him about it. He was reading the defense. He knows the scouting report on him. He mentioned that teams are going to go under on him. He has to make them pay by stepping up and knocking down pull-up jumpers. And he did that numerous times. So that's the type of progression you need to see in a rookie season from somebody. Is just understanding how teams are approaching you, the notes they have on you, and then you have to make them pay for it and keep growing your game. And I think as well, the isolation defense has been phenomenal from him. Like he has all the intangibles you would want to make it really tough on somebody to try to break you down and score. And he's done a fantastic job at getting stops. So he's checking a lot of boxes. There's a lot to like about him for sure.
Well, that was us recapping Nico Harrison, the Suns game. It has been such a fun ride with you guys here on the Mavs Pulse. We love all the guys and gals that have shared the videos, that have commented, that have liked, that have been there for the premieres. Like, it means a lot to us. So Blake is going to be going to Georgia, so we're going to try to squeeze in another episode talking about the trades and what the Mavs should do next with the franchise, with Michael Finley and Matt Riccardi taking over as co-GMs. Patrick Dumont still at the helm. Should we get Dirk involved? We'll wait and see. But for me and Grant, we will see you guys very, very, very soon to stay all the way up to date on everything that's happened with the Dallas Mavericks as we enter a new era of Dallas Mavericks basketball. Toodles.